Imagine leading a nation into a devastating war that ends with 2 atomic bombs, millions dead, and an emperor worshipped as a living god forced to surrender. Now imagine the victorious foreign general arriving in that broken country. You would expect hatred. You would expect resistance. You would expect revenge. But something unexpected happened. Instead of becoming one of the most hated men in Japan, General Douglas MacArthur became one of the most respected foreign figures in modern Japanese history. How did the commander of the occupying army earn the trust of a defeated nation? And why do many Japanese still remember him differently than almost every other military conqueror in history? The answer is far more surprising than most people realize. When MacArthur landed in Japan in 1945, he possessed almost unlimited power. He could have dismantled the emperor. He could have punished the population. He could have ruled through fear. Instead, he made a series of decisions that shocked both Americans and Japanese officials. One photograph. One meeting. One controversial choice. These actions would reshape Japan forever and change the way millions of Japanese viewed him. But to understand why, we first need to understand the Japan he inherited. By August 1945, Japan was shattered. Years of war had devastated the country. Major cities had been destroyed by bombing campaigns. Food shortages were becoming severe. Millions of soldiers were dead, wounded, or missing. Then came the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Soon afterward, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's surrender. For many Japanese citizens, it was the most shocking moment in their nation's history. They had been taught that Japan could never be defeated. They had been taught that the emperor was divine. Now everything they believed seemed to be collapsing. Into this uncertainty stepped General Douglas MacArthur. As supreme commander for the Allied powers, he became the most powerful man in Japan. The future of an entire nation rested largely in his hands. Many Japanese feared the worst. History had shown that victorious armies often humiliated defeated nations. Japan expected punishment. What happened instead changed everything. MacArthur faced an enormous challenge. Japan was on the edge of chaos. The economy was collapsing. Food supplies were dangerously low. Political institutions had lost credibility. Millions of people were uncertain about the future. At the same time, American leaders wanted to ensure that Japan would never again become a military threat. The question was simple. How do you transform a defeated empire into a peaceful democracy without triggering rebellion or national humiliation? One wrong move could have pushed Japan into instability for years. And MacArthur's first major decision would become one of the most controversial of his career. Many Allied leaders wanted Emperor Hirohito removed from power. Some believed he should be tried as a war criminal. After all, he had been the symbolic leader of Japan during the war. Punishing him seemed logical. But MacArthur saw a different reality. He understood that for millions of Japanese citizens, the emperor represented national unity. Removing Hirohito could create unrest and make the occupation far more difficult. Critics argued that sparing the emperor was too lenient. Supporters believed it was necessary for stability. The pressure on MacArthur was immense. Whatever decision he made would affect the future of Japan. Then came a meeting that would become legendary. In September 1945, Emperor Hirohito met Douglas MacArthur. The encounter was historic. Afterward, a photograph was released to the public. In the image, MacArthur stood casually without formal military decorations. Beside him stood Emperor Hirohito in formal attire. For Japanese citizens, the image was shocking. The emperor, once viewed as almost divine, appeared as a human being standing next to another man. The symbolism was powerful. Yet MacArthur treated Hirohito with respect. He did not publicly humiliate him. He did not use the meeting to display dominance. Instead, he used the emperor as a bridge between the occupation authorities and the Japanese people. This decision helped maintain order during one of the most fragile periods in Japanese history. But MacArthur was only getting started. Keeping order was one thing. Rebuilding an entire nation was another. Japan faced massive economic problems. Millions struggled to find food. Infrastructure needed rebuilding. Political reforms faced resistance from traditional power structures. MacArthur also had to balance competing interests. Some Americans wanted harsh punishment. Others wanted rapid reconstruction. Meanwhile, ordinary Japanese citizens were simply trying to survive. The occupation could easily have become a source of resentment. Instead, MacArthur pursued reforms that would fundamentally change Japanese society. MacArthur introduced reforms unlike anything Japan had experienced before. A new constitution was created. Women gained voting rights. Political freedoms expanded. Labor rights increased. Military expansion was restricted. Land reforms reduced the power of large landowners and gave opportunities to ordinary farmers. For many Japanese citizens, these changes represented hope. They saw improvements in daily life. They saw opportunities that had never existed before. Gradually, the occupation began to be viewed less as foreign control and more as a pathway toward recovery. Public opinion slowly shifted. Respect began replacing fear. The true test came when Japan started recovering. Despite enormous challenges, the country remained stable. Violence and large-scale resistance never reached the levels many experts had feared. The emperor continued serving as a symbol of unity. Democratic institutions took root. Economic recovery gained momentum. Many Japanese citizens credited MacArthur's leadership for helping prevent national collapse. To them, he was not merely an occupying general. He was the man who chose reconstruction over revenge. At a moment when Japan could have been humiliated and broken, he offered a different path. That decision defined his reputation. By the time MacArthur left Japan in 1951, the nation had been transformed. The foundations of modern democratic Japan had been established. The occupation ended far more successfully than many observers had predicted. Japan would eventually become one of the world's leading economic powers. And many Japanese remembered MacArthur as a key figure in that transformation. Today, historians continue debating MacArthur's decisions. Some criticize aspects of his leadership. Others praise his vision and pragmatism. But one fact remains difficult to ignore. Few military occupiers in history have earned the level of respect that MacArthur received from many people in a defeated nation. His legacy in Japan remains one of the most unique relationships between conqueror and conquered ever recorded. If you enjoyed this story and want more real historical documentaries about powerful leaders, forgotten events, and the moments that changed the world, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. And tell us in the comments, did Douglas MacArthur save Japan's future, or was history simply on his side?